The first time I tried to set up the LightDome Mini, I had very bad luck and I think I almost hurt myself. Let's hope this one goes a little better.
Once again, will the renegade master default damage.
Last time I put in my 4 red ones into their corresponding holes, and then I just sort of went around the whole thing and it didn't work. And after a little tip from Kitty at Atola Visuals, I think I've got a different plan that should work.
With the ill behavior back once again, will the renegade master.
So far, I haven't hurt myself.
Once again, will the renegade master default damage with the ill behavior back.
Okay, that was embarrassingly easier.
Power to the people back once again, will the renegade master default damage with the ill behavior back once.
I feel like an idiot. That was really easy had I taken a second. Done. Oh, that's pretty great. The Aputure 120D with the LightDome Mini on it is right here, and it's awesome. I'm gonna fix my mic real quick. Is that in the shot? It's not in the shot, we're going. Hello, it feels so good to be back in my office. I had an amazing Christmas and Hanukkah. Headed to Boston for 10 days and got to relax with Jesse's family. It was lovely and beautiful. There were a couple little videos that went up here and there. Now I'm back and I'm ready to go to work. But before I do, a couple things arrived while I was gone. Welcome to the family. The Aperture Space Light. So this is like all the best parts of a Chinese lantern, but better and more awesome. All I have to do is put my light down inside the top, and there's a little hole that I can tighten around the 120D, and then this whole thing fills with beautiful, even light that gets casted everywhere. There's a very good chance that this is going to be the main light that I use lighting interviews and things like that from now on, because it's so easy and it's so even. It looks very natural once it's turned on. We'll screw with it in a little bit, but for now, I have way too many time lapses of me trying to assemble and disassemble things. This is absolutely not how it's supposed to go. Space light. Perfect. So the space light is currently in frame, which is making the illusion a little different. But this is what happens when the space light is on and the cast that's put over me. So with this one light and this little modifier, this is a super simple setup to get really even, nice light all across my dome. The space light modifier, in theory, fits into this, and then the light has its own little bag that it comes with. So a really lean setup, space light, probably what I'm gonna use a bunch. Place Not Points merchandise, now available at placenotpoints.com. Now this is the one I've been excited about. Now I have right now on the 120D, the LightDome Mini, and this is the full-size LightDome. So this thing is pretty huge, but it does some pretty incredible things. I didn't mean to pull this out so perfectly with the logo facing camera, but you're welcome, Aperture. You'll see my address on my website and you can just mail the checks here. That'll be fine. So the LightDome, if you're unfamiliar, is a diffusion similar to the LightDome Mini, but it's this big old reflector cone, but there's 2 layers of diffusion into it. So the light that comes out of it is super, super soft, and it's really, really gentle as you're lighting interviews. It's not like a harsh key light that's on your face or a spotlight or anything. It takes the 120D or 300D or T, and it makes these lights just super approachable and relaxing, in my opinion. And that's what I'm going for a lot of times with my interviews, is not going like super dramatic, but more calm, polished, and professional. So this is gonna make that really easy. With how poorly setting up the LightDome Mini went the first time, I should probably read the instructions first. Nah. I don't think I can like set this up here at my desk without hurting myself and or other things. So again, given the advice from Kitty at Atola Visuals, I'm gonna go around here thoughtfully and in a gentle order so that I don't bend things and almost hurt myself like I did with the Mini. Again, it's so stupid that I did this wrong the first time because this makes so much sense. My backlight died at some point. I feel like this one's slightly easier to assemble than the LightDome Mini just because the poles are longer and they have a little bit more play in them because of that. This is the Aputure LightDome. So inside this little first panel of diffusion goes probably about a foot away from the light, and then the second panel goes about 2.5 feet away. So you can see in here this gets hung so that the light shines through this first, gets bounced around, and then it'll greet this one along the front and make that light go everywhere and get nice and soft first. Dome assembled. Oh, time for the front diffusion. So step 3 just says stick magic strip well. I don't really know what that means. So now, fully assembled, it looks like this. Now this thing, again, is huge, but what it's gonna do to this light is pretty impressive. So take a look now, and I'm gonna take off the Mini and swap these out. This is with the LightDome Mini. This is the setup with the Aperture LightDome set up on the 120. This is with no diffusion whatsoever. This is just the 120D shining in my face. LightDome Mini. LightDome, LightDome, LightDome Mini. So this thing is now in frame, but with no movement from where it was before. This is the setup, and this is the kind of light that it gives out. So you can see it's a lot softer, it's a lot more gentle. I'm gonna move this thing out of frame so that I can actually have a usable shot here. Is that, oh, it's so close. It's barely in frame. Is that out of frame? It is. It is. That's out of frame now. So this is the setup with the Aperture LightDome set up on the 120D. With this light setup, this is what I'm looking for to sort of cast the right shadows over my face. I have a second light on. I have one of my old LED panels set up over here. I'm gonna turn that off real quick. So this is what it looks like with just the 120D through the LightDome on my face, sitting right here. And this is probably the look that it's gonna be when I stand at my desk and do these things. Do you think it's too distracting to have the television on here? I was doing stuff earlier and moving boxes and cleaning up from the photo shoot, and I just had Netflix playing. This is what happens when the light gets way brighter and I don't adjust the camera settings. The cool thing about these Aperture lights is they come with this remote and they all work with this remote. So as I get more Aperture lights, which I intend to slowly switch over and get rid of my old LED panels and replace them with Aperture lights and Amber lights, the remote, you can connect several lights to the same thing. So I can turn this off, turn it back on, off, on. But I can do this to multiple lights at the same time while standing here. And as someone who is getting more serious with some of the videos that I'm making, it's kind of nice to be able to adjust rather, like I just had to walk over and turn that LED panel off. But with this one, if I wanted to turn it off, I can just press the button in my hand, or if I want to make it brighter, I can do that. Or if I want to bring it down, I can find just the right balance without having to move around. I can look right at my monitor. Or if I'm filming somebody else, the same thing is true. When I'm standing behind the camera trying to light a shot for an interview, if I have to keep walking, tweaking the light a little bit, then going back to the camera and looking, you know, going back to my monitor and saying, is this the right exposure? No, still a little too hot. Going back and forth can waste a lot of time. And so with this remote, I can dial that in without ever having to move. I can stay right by my monitor, which in this case is back behind the camera, but whatevs. Again, Place Not Points merchandise now available. So my last note on this setup that I really like is now with my backlight back with a battery, so it's actually on. With that on and this on, this is the setup that I'm going for. And the cool thing is what it's replacing was an LED panel with a big diffusion panel that expanded and I clipped into something. And so that right there already took 2 stands, which when you're setting stuff up, especially if I'm not in my studio where I'm limited in space, having to set up multiple stands just to get one light gets really cumbersome and in the way, and it's more weight to carry to a place. And so this setup has the LightDome and the light on one stand, And it's really convenient that I don't have to have twice as many stands, therefore twice as much stand weight, but it makes my whole setup a lot leaner and a lot more flexible, which is really important to me. Place Not Points merch, now available.
Once again, will the renegade master, default damager, power to the people back.
I also unwrapped all this stuff after setting up the mic, and I never really tested anything, so I'm certainly hoping that sound was recording properly. It looks like it is on the little bars I can see on my monitor, but that could also be just in-camera audio that has been horrible. Wait, let's see. Oh no, it definitely bounces when I hit that, so.
Once again, will the renegade